Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Blitzball Champ and Hollywood Cinema present to you a brand new episode of the Team GOWGO Wait, hold up, rewind. This is a new show we call the Team GOWGO Anime Podcast, featuring myself, Blitzball Champ, and Hollywood Cinema.
Yeah, boy. Sorry, I'm sleepy. I just woke up.
Well, hope you've saved plenty of energy during your nap because we're gonna need it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back in the swing of things. I literally just woke up like 4 minutes ago. I'm gonna get back in it.
So we both decided to come together and do a podcast talking about anime, something that we both enjoy and love very dearly. And
Yeah.
As the first episode, we kind of want to make this sort of like the introductory episode. So, want to first start out by talking about how we both got introduced to anime and how we got into anime. So, you want to go first or me?
I might as well go first. I'm shooting off the cuff. I'm remembering it as I'm thinking about it. So
Go for it.
here we go. Oh, well, the first thing I remember about anime is just it's the weirdest thing. I know I used to watch random cartoons. Like I used to watch Gatchaman, Battle of the Planets or whatever you want to call it, G-Men,
Hmm.
all the time back in the day. Always was watching that shit. Always watched Voltron. Loved it. But the first anime movie I remember is Castle of Cagliostro with Lupin the Third, and I love Lupin the Third. Like Lupin the Third is one of my favorite anime properties of all time, just because I think it's one of the first ones I remember.
Nice.
And just I always liked James Bond stories and always liked that kind of thing. And it's action adventure, silly. And I always liked all those characters. But Castle Cagliostro was the first movie I remember. I also remember watching the Yu Yu Hakusho. I don't know if it was a movie or not. I guess it was a movie. It was just like him fighting I can't remember the dude's name, the black hair guy, and him kind of meeting everybody, and at the end they all come back together and fight the main guy. I barely remember it, but I remember that one because they had it playing at a anime, not convention, but like it was at NC State. Me and a buddy of mine went down to NC State when we were about 10 or 11. It was a bunch of older people just either trading Dragon Ball Z cards, stuff like that, because I got into Dragon Ball Z super early here. So I was about 10 or so. And then, it was Dragon Ball first, and then it was Dragon Ball Z. And this was before the internet was like popping like it is now, where I had to download like episode synopsis on a floppy disk, so I could then go back and read them. So
Yeah.
I would just download all the episodes, and this was when they had just aired in Japan, Dragon Ball Z. And I was like, I had no context or anything. I just knew all the characters from Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
And when all of a sudden I remember just hearing, oh, there's a series later when he's all grown up, and I was like, what? And it blew my mind. And so those are like my first memories of anime. But I've always been into it because I love cartoons in general. And if you show me a Japanese cartoon, I was going to be super into it. I remember getting the ADV giant catalogs back in the day, which you would get once a year.
Oh.
And then like I just remember reading all the synopsis for like Dragon Pink, and I used to watch a lot of Devilman. I watched Cutie Honey a lot. So that was when I was a little bit older, like middle school, like 5th grade, 6th grade, and I was getting into like the darker stuff. There's always Devilman, Cutie Honey. I used to love Demon City. I watched that a lot. I watched Neon Genesis Evangelion. I remember renting that from a video store off of Falls of Noose. That was, I don't know if you remember. Do you know where the Chick-fil-A and the TJ Maxx are on Falls of News?
Yes, yes.
Okay, there used to be a video game store.
Gamer's
Like
Edge, right?
I get, yeah, that was the name of it. And
Yep.
I used to rent anime there from there all the time.
Oh yeah.
Neon Genesis Evangelion was the one I rented the most, the VHS tapes, and I would just watch them over and over and over.
Yeah, I remember that store because that also had import video games.
Exactly. I used to go there and play I used to rent video games and movies from there and anime because they had a great anime selection.
Yep, sure did. That's what's
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, so that's just when I think about me and anime off the top of my head. That's those are the things I always remember.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that kind of covers. Oh, Trigun, I watched a shit ton. I remember buying the Canadian release so I could have like the entire series because that was before there was like no American box set for it. Love that.
Nice.
Just anything else. That's all I can think of. I can't think of anything. Oh, Project A-ko. Project A-ko was another one I watched over. I watched all three of those over and over again. It might have been just two, but I remember watching those OVAs a lot.
Oh, okay.
Project A-ko, and just so you know, Project A-ko is on. The first one is on Amazon Prime, and I watched that maybe 2 months ago, just to remember, and it all came back to me when I watched it because it's been years since I've seen it. And I noticed a lot of things about it now, like the horror scene with the Colonel, the KFC, the Colonel from KFC as the
Colonel
horror
Sanders?
movie villain. Yeah, Colonel Sanders. He was the horror movie villain. And now when I watch it, I'm like, I totally get that because that was around the time where KFC was coming into Japan and it was kind of taking over. And I like the idea that they had like a horror movie inside of this anime to deal with the fact that the Western influence coming over. It was interesting.
Yeah, I kind of remember when KFC Japan really started to take off. Had quite an interesting menu, but still, it definitely was increasing over in Japan. So I thought that was really interesting.
Hmm.
But and you also know that because I know you mentioned Genesis Evangelion. You know that's on Netflix.
I do. I've been trying to go back through it, but it is a little bit harder for me to do now because it's a lot of paying attention. When I was a kid, it was so easy just to be like, because I didn't have a cell phone, I didn't have other shit that was just begging for my attention. So do have a hard time. I've been trying to go back through it, but that one is one in my head. It's a certain way. I remember being dark and not understanding everything, but just kind of enjoying the darkness of it and the violence. But I try to watch it now. I still enjoy it, but there's whole episodes where I'm like, Jesus Christ, we all stop. Like, we're just a little too much. It's just a little too much. I'm gonna try to keep going. I've never seen the movies, because I wanted to rewatch the show before I watched any of the movies, and I just never got around to rewatching the show. So I still need to do that. Oh, and Case Closed. Case Closed is another one I fucking love. If I'm just going like my favorite ones, Case Closed is another favorite. I have a lot of favorites from before, like the modern anime, like My Hero that I loved. And Case Closed was definitely one of them. Tank Police, another one. That's another one I think of. Gunsmith Cats.
Oh, I
That's
love me
another
some
one.
Gunsmith Cats.
I remember having the comic books of that and cutting them up to make like collages and shit.
Oh yeah.
Because I was obsessed with manga, just the way Japanese art was in general. So any of that I could get a hold of, I needed it. Couldn't get enough of it.
Gunsmith Cats, Rally Vincent, and Minnie May.
Yeah, and I might remember some random ones, but I think that those are the ones that stick out when I think about them.
That's what's up. You got quite a variety of tastes there.
Oh yeah, man, I'm all over. Oh, Tenchi. Tenchi was another one. Tenchi was a huge one.
Oh,
The
Tenchi
Tenchi
Muyo?
series. I was obsessed with Tenchi. Um, I also a little bit later love Hina. I love a lot. I like the harem anime for some reason.
Hmm.
I love that shit. Ranma was a big one when I was like before I even remember anime. I do remember Ranma because my buddy had the SNES game. Well, the Famicom game.
The fighting game?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I remember like having no context with like shampoo and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew Ranma, but I had never seen an episode. Like I had seen like maybe a tape of it with like because it was a little bit harder to get to. It was harder to get Ranma.
Uh-huh.
I was just familiar with the way they looked because they had their images fucking everywhere. But yeah, the video game is probably the biggest factor in my memory of that of that series. But I loved it. But yeah, Tenchi is all top five favorite. That's a classic one. I used to like. I that's another one I used to rent from there a lot too. And I watched that movie
Hmm.
a lot. And I watched the OVAs because I remember how I watched like the series and then they had the OVAs where stuff was slightly different. So I had to watch that just because.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was and always the slightest change too. It was never anything crazy. It was like they just changed the first episode slightly.
Ah, okay. Very, very interesting.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's actually all I can remember now.
no, that was good. That was very good. Very detailed.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, I kind of have mine split up kind of like in three parts. So for me, I'll tell you right now, my childhood was swarmed by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like that
Mm,
was like the biggest portion of my childhood growing up. Um,
same.
a good bunch of it was Ninja Turtles, and then later on it became Power Rangers. And
Mm,
then my first taste of anime was um, was Dragon Ball Z, and this was back when I was in middle school, and Dragon Ball Z used to come on Saturday mornings. Uh,
yes, I remember the Saturday morning, the first episode of Dragon Ball Z because I remember I recorded it
mhm.
and took it over my buddy's house for a sleepover the next week,
Ah,
and we
yeah.
watched it.
Yeah, I kind of had to. I didn't really understand the concept of an alarm clock, so I had to kind of force myself to to wake up in the. It was 6 in the morning
Yeah.
to
Oh, I forget I'm older than you. I forget I'm older because how old are you?
35.
Okay, yeah, so I'm 2 years older than you.
Mm. So that was really my first taste of anime. Although there was a time in the mornings before school where I remember Pokemon and Sailor Moon used to come on, and
Sailor Moon. Oh, sorry, I totally forgot about Sailor Moon. I love Sailor Moon.
and although I really weren't into them much, they were really the only cartoons that were on that morning before school,
Oh,
so that
I
was
love
really the best that I could do. But Dragon Ball Z was really what got me hyped into anime. But I'd have to say what really made me blow up for anime, one word, Toonami.
Oh gosh. And see, I was never a Toonami guy. I was aware of it, but I never. A lot of by the time I got to Toonami, I had already watched a lot of the videos for it. I guess that was my thing. Toonami was like, if I just want to sit and watch Dragon Ball Z, I will. But I had either already read about those episodes or seen them.
Yeah, and but yeah, I figured, from what you were sharing, that you probably got a more preemptive head start before Toonami
Oh
became
God.
a thing. But so, like pretty much my favorite times during high school was watching Toonami after school when I'd get home, and there were loads of shows that just always got me excited, you know, come after school. Whether it was Dragon Ball Z, Outlaw Star, Tenchi Muyo, Rurouni Kenshin, Zoids.
Oh
Uh,
God.
there was just such a handle. Gundam Wing, Blue
Oh
Submarine
God.
6. Like,
Oh no. Oh God. You're naming a bunch of stuff. I'm like, I like two of those.
oh really? Oh,
Yeah, it's like now I remember why I didn't watch Toonami because they had a lot of anime had no interest in.
really? Bummer.
Yeah, it was just like Tenchi and Dragon Ball were the only ones I was ever interested in. I never liked Zoids. I never liked Ronin. I had friends that like Ronin Kenshin. Like they watched like every episode. I was just like, no, it's not for me.
Oh man.
Inuyasha never. Like
Oh
late at
yeah,
night, it was
Inuyasha.
fun.
Yep.
I could never get into it. I could never get into those.
But and then of course later on they had Adult Swim, which is how I got introduced to Cowboy Bebop, which is my all-time favorite anime. Um, and then the other time was late night, usually after 10 or 11 p.m. on Cinemax. They would sometimes show anime, and a show that I really was hooked on was Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040.
Never watched that ever. I've always read about it, never watched it.
It is so good, but I hated the ending. I thought the ending sucked. Like everything else, excellent. The last episode, hated it.
Wait, was that the one that had like the multiple different series where like the context of things would change? Or am I
So,
thinking of a different one?
well, this had an original series like that's way older. This is like the newer, like I guess you could
That's
say
what it
reboot.
was. Yeah,
But
because I remember because that and Robotech were the ones I was just like, I like the idea of Robotech, but could not watch that shit.
yeah,
It was so fucking boring.
but um, but yeah, overall, I'd have to say what really got me like what really helped me become a true anime fan was through Toonami. But my first taste of anime was really Dragon Ball Z, and then but after Toonami became a thing, that really just expanded my horizons when it came to anime in general.
Yeah, I get that. Give you a lot of random, a lot of different shows because they seem to be. Oh God, I hated Big O. I hated Big O.
What?
I hated it. I,
Dude.
it's because well, it's also because I hated Gigantor growing up when I was little. Like
Oh.
Gigantor was never something I was ever interested in. I don't know what it was about Gigantor and all that shit because that was like the level of anime when I was a little kid. It was like Astro Boy and Gigantor, and I was like, nah, I'm cool. Like I like the idea of Astro Boy because of Mega Man, but nah, son,
But
can't
didn't
do it.
but didn't like Big O. Wow.
No, fucking hate it. I would rather watch Batman the animated series. That's what it reminds me of. It's just something about the way everybody looks. Just everybody looks so aloof and just like, ugh.
Did you like Batman Beyond?
Yes, I love Batman Beyond.
You like Batman Beyond, but not Big O? That's like the same
Yeah,
animation.
I know, but Batman Beyond at least had Batman. It didn't. Because it's weird. Like, because there was a time where you could say, like, if you were to ask me about certain big robot anime, I fucking hated them. I did not like them at all. I don't know what it was, but I loved Power Rangers. I loved Voltron. I loved and even Voltron. I always like Power Rangers more than Voltron because I found Voltron to be pretty boring. I always like Voltron for the look of the Go Lions. The robots are what I liked about Voltron. I really didn't give a shit about anything else.
But you
Um,
didn't but you didn't like Gundam.
no, I remember Gundam. Gundam was like Doctor Who to me. There was never like up until like Matt Smith's season of Doctor Who. I had like the same thing with Gundam until the Unicorn Gundam. I
Okay.
could not find a lane where I gave two shits about that property. And it was all of a sudden they gave me a property. I don't know if it was just the opening theme song because I could love an anime just from the opening theme song.
Hmm.
Uh, Mixed with the art style. If the art style is dope, I'm gonna love it. If the opening song is great, I'm gonna remember it and love it. Um, but there's like, yeah, just I don't know. I'm so weird about shit because there's certain anime that I love. Like if I was to go top 10, there's an anime called Samurai 7 that's in my
Yeah,
top 10.
that's in my queue.
I fucking love. I have rewatched that at least four times, and it's been a couple years since I've rewatched it. But I remember watching it when it first came out like three times in a row
Yeah.
because I loved every character that was in that, and I something about that whole thing just enamored me, and I just love the fact that later on in the series the art styles start to change
Hmm.
for different episodes, which blows my mind because it's just all of a sudden you get like this one art style, and then when the fights start happening, like the real fights, the reason the Samurai 7 the end act when those episodes start to happen,
Uh-huh.
all the art styles start to change, and it's kinetic as shit. It's jarring at first, but you're just like, this shit is so insane. Oh,
So so I want to give a shout out to a friend of mine that used to work at Epic, Joe Williford. He was originally the one that introduced me to Samurai 7. I saw an episode and I was like, "Oh wow, this was actually really cool." I didn't get around into really getting into the series, but I put it on my queue because of that. So that's been on my queue for a while.
that was an early Netflix like disc day watch for me. Like I remember getting all of those discs through Netflix, the old school way, and just going through them and just losing my mind at how good they were.
Right on, right on. Um, so yeah, that pretty much covers like the basis of like what we got started with. I now want to kind of transition into sort of like some of the last anime that we've gone through, like completely.
Hmm. Oh
Um,
yeah, that'll be easy because there was a time where I kind of fell off. Like there were certain like times in my life where I fell off stuff I loved, like comic books. I kind of left that a little bit in high school, focused more on movies. Anime too. There was a time where I used to buy a lot of anime. I used to go to Suncoast Movie Company and Crabtree and
ooh,
Triangle, just buying anime as much as possible, and then I just kind of stopped. But I remember like vividly when I got back into it when I started working at like Target because I ended up started buying like Robotech box sets, and I was like, oh, let me watch this now since I have all this access to all these releases. But then I was like, oh yeah, I don't like Robotech. That's where I kind of I learned what I really liked about. That's when I guess is when my taste. I could speak to what my tastes were.
hmm,
Because I still remember going to Texas in like 2004 or so, and going to like at the airport, just buying a couple manga just to get myself through the next trip or the next week. And I remember they had just released the first volume of Naruto and Bleach. And I remember I bought those two volumes because I saw Naruto, I saw his shoes, and I saw his outfit, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to read that shit. Like that looks like he looks dope as shit, and he's got an orange jumpsuit on. I'm there, and I ended up I've been reading that, and then learned about the anime, and so that's one of the ones I didn't finish watching Bleach all the way through because I hate filler. But Naruto, I watched it all the way through, and I watched Shippuden as well because I've ever heard that came out. I was like, I gotta watch that. I love these characters.
so were those the last ones that you've completed all the way through?
Yeah,
Oh, oh, okay.
because yeah, I dropped off considerably. Like even now, I once Crunchyroll. I remember when Crunchyroll came out, I just kept starting stuff and never finishing it.
Hmm.
I would just get distracted, kind of midway through. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna get back to that, and then never come back to it.
Yeah. Oh, totally, totally understandable. I know that's happened to me quite a bunch. Um, for me, so currently, the last series that I've finished through all the way through was actually on Netflix. Was Carol and Tuesday. Um, if
Okay, let's see.
if you're big into music, drama related anime, this is definitely one to check out. Shinichiro Watanabe, same director behind Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop, directed this series as well. And I remember being at Animazement when Watanabe-san had talked a little bit about Carolyn Tuesday because at the time that was his newest project, and he could only say but so much, but it really got me hyped up and interested. And then when I finally heard that, oh snap, it's coming to Netflix, I was like, oh shoot, I need to keep an eye on that. So
Nice.
yeah, it came out. It released the first part, which was like the first 12 episodes, and then I remember Christmas Eve of last year was the second part of the episodes, and I tell you, I enjoyed the mess out of that anime, and that really, and the cool thing about it was a lot of the music from the show is actually on Spotify.
Uh,
So thought that was really cool because, like, and the funny thing is, like, some of the singers and musicians that lended their voice talents for a
mhm.
lot of the music just was like, wow, I would have never imagined that.
Yeah.
Like, so I thought that was really cool, very enjoyable anime series, which is the last one that I completed, and then I just recently watched a little short, like 45-minute movie called The Garden of Words, which was directed by Makoto Shinkai. Which, if you don't know that name, Makoto Shinkai, he's the man behind Weathering with You and Your Name.
Seen neither.
Oh, they are. If you don't end up liking the story of those two movies, you will love the animation. Like I I can assure you, the animation, two of the most beautifully animated movies I've ever seen.
Nice.
So, Weathering with You and Your Name, which I saw both in the theater twice for Your Name, and so yeah, Makoto Shinkai, that was the same guy behind the Garden of Words. It was another little drama movie. It was kind of weird, sort of like Weathering with You, but beautifully animated and kind of an interesting story as well.
Hmm.
But currently working on getting ready to start season 2 of Assassination Classroom.
I've only seen like the first episode.
What did you think?
It was fine. It just some reason it didn't grab me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that happens to me a lot where I'll check out the first episode. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get around to that eventually, and I never do.
Ah, I see. I guess question I wanted to pose forth, and because I know this has been sort of the trend lately, at least within the last few years. What are your thoughts about how they've taken a lot of these different popular, well-known anime and made live-action adaptations?
Well, I mean, I own the Ghost in the Shell one, but I've yet to watch it. It was like $2, so I bought it. Because Ghost in the Shell is actually one of the first anime movies I remember too. Watching at a friend's house at a sleepover, remembering nothing of it at this point, but watching it once back in the day, like that was one of my first anime that I do remember watching. But it sat with me, but I don't remember anything about it. Not really. And I tried to rewatch it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember like bits, but I'm like, oh yeah, I don't really like this that much. But other than that, I'm trying to think of what are the other ones.
Uh, let's see. They did a live adaptation for Death Note.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Saw Dragon Ball Evolution. That was brutal.
Ugh.
That was so bad.
Yeah.
And Death Note was bad too. I wanted to like it, but it was bad.
I could tolerate Death Note.
I could tolerate it to the end, and I was like, oh, this is the dumbest fucking thing.
Yeah. Yeah. They did one for I think a two-parter for Attack on Titan.
I do not like Attack on Titan, and I have no interest in watching it. I see. I'm weird about anime. Like, if the art style is not for me, I'm definitely not watching it. And that art style is gross to me.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
really think it's ugly. I think that is one of the ugliest anime, and I can't understand it.
really?
Yeah, it's so ugly to me.
Oh man. I love me some Attack on like what got me into Attack on Titan because I'll be honest with you, I did not originally get the hype, but like I would go to conventions and I would see like more than 60% of people
Oh yeah,
cosplaying Attack on Titan. I'm like, okay, seriously,
yeah. I don't
like
get. I still don't get it.
what the heck is all the hype about? So I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm a see Attack on Titan for myself. And dude, just the action like just pulled me in. Like that first season pulled me in so quick.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know what it's about. I have a blind spot. I just can't. It's so gross to look at.
but another live adaptation. They've even done a live adaptation for Bleach.
Yes, I have not watched that yet because
Um,
I don't know if I can do that because it's like my least favorite story. It's like the first story in Bleach, and I really don't even like that story that much.
uh-huh.
Like I want to go to the Soul Society. That's when I give a shit. I don't really give a shit about the first story because it's just like whatever.
Ah. Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, I did watch that for a while and that kind of fell off. But I yeah, no interest in a live action movie of that either. Maybe one day.
Yeah. Um so one that I actually heard from a couple of friends that actually was good and I'm still kind of hesitant, but apparently it was said that Rurouni Kenshin live action was good.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's another one I had no interest in because I don't like the anime.
So, interesting story about the anime for Rurouni Kenshin. Uh,
Mhm.
I remember during the time I was unemployed when I went to one of the year's Animazement, and at the time the original TV series, the box set was like so expensive. It was like $150.
Hmm.
And everywhere in the dealer's room I would go to, it was like 150, $170. And
Of course.
but each one I went to at least had a unopened box set of that.
Hmm.
And then sure enough, there was one small booth that I went to where this middle-aged woman was there, and she had one copy of it, and I was thinking at first, it's probably going to be 150, something dollars, but I mean, it can't hurt to ask. I asked
No.
her, I was like, "Excuse me, miss, how much are you charging for this?" She said 90. I was like, sold.
Wow.
Like I bought it instantly, and I only had money to get food for the rest of the convention, but I didn't care. I had to have that.
Mm.
And I pretty much spent pretty much the whole time I was unemployed burning through Rurouni Kenshin. And yeah, that was like an epic moment for me because like I jumped on that as soon as she said 90. I was like, I wasn't gonna waste any more time. That is mine. I'm buying it.
Nice.
So but yeah, I'm still kind of hesitant on whether I'll check that movie out or not. Cause honestly, like just it's been such a negative trend, for
Yeah.
these live adaptations. Like I'll be upfront and honest with you, I refuse to watch the live action Ghost in the Shell. I refuse to do it. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'd feel like I'd be doing myself a disservice by watching that, especially the idea of Scarlett Johansson as Major Motoko Kusanagi. I can't do it.
I guess I just don't. I don't have like a connection with. Like I remember watching it, but I never cared much about Ghost in the Shell. I never watched any of this TV show. Just I didn't give a shit. Like it did not grab me. So I guess me buying it for $2 is like, it's in 4K. I was like, oh, it's in 4K. I'll buy it. Probably looks good.
Yeah. Um, I think they've also done a live adaptation of Assassination Classroom as well.
They have. I've seen the Loop on the Third movie from the '70s. I haven't watched the live action one from like 4 years ago or so, but one of these days I'll find it. It's harder to find.
Yeah.
Oh, and I watched the old bootleg live action Dragon Ball movie from the '70s as well.
Oh, jeez.
You ever seen that shit? It's horrible.
Oh, it is pretty horrible.
Oh, it's so bad because it's illegal as fuck. It's not
Jeez.
officially licensed, but it's definitely Dragon Ball. It's got a Nimbus and everything. It's insane.
Oh, wow. That's really
I feel like
interesting.
yeah. Oh god, yeah. You just got to Google unofficial Dragon Ball movie. It's ridiculous.
Golly. Um, and then of course, I'm sure you probably heard that they're going to be doing a live action series for Cowboy Bebop.
Yes, I probably will not watch that.
Dude,
Has Asian actors, so Netflix.
I'll I'll give it a fair chance, but if
John Cho.
if
John Cho.
this and see that's the thing, I am not sold after listening to an interview with John Cho about this. I am not sold on him being Spike Spiegel because one, the interview he did, he just seemed so disinterested and like he wasn't even knowledgeable of the series of like
I
the
mean, it hadn't
background.
even started. They hadn't started filming it yet, so he's still got time to do that.
But
Research.
I don't know, like trying to do something like this and not have a hand from Shinichiro Watanabe in it just makes me that plus music. Music's also going to be another big deal as well. But and not having that just makes me feel like it's
He'll
not.
have some kind of jazz. Man.
It just makes me feel like it's not meant to be taken seriously, you know.
Oh yeah.
So
See, I'm assuming that by the time that actually gets done, that everybody will have done everything they need to do. That's usually
well,
how it goes. At least, like I remember Spider-Man came out. Those people had never even read a Spider-Man comic book, most of them, and it was just like, okay, but they they did their research when it was time to go.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll give it a fair shot. I will sit here and say I will give it a fair shot, and I might give it 2 to 3 episodes. If I'm not sold, I'm done.
Okay,
And
we'll
and,
see.
and that's me being generous.
We shall see. I've seen you put up with a lot of other shit.
And this is true. This is true. You know me well. You know of my
Mhm.
history. So this is true. But I think I can give it a fair 2 to 3 episode try, but I'm not going to set any sort of expectations. But I'm hesitant as it is because, like I said, this is my all-time favorite anime, and it's a big part of me. You know, I've gone through the anime so many times. I've even met the director himself. I've met Steve Bloom himself. So it's like it's a big deal to me. Like, cuz I'm a firm believer there's just certain things that you just don't touch. Like the whole idea of the Dragon Ball Z live action, it's just like that shouldn't have been touched. That shouldn't have been
I mean, they could
touched.
totally. I feel like they could totally do that. They just whoever did it had no idea what the hell they were doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just basing this off of the history of how live action adaptations of these popular anime have done. So it's like, cause honestly, Cowboy Bebop didn't need a live action. It didn't need it.
I mean, none of them do, to be honest with you.
So I don't know. I'm just not really confident. But like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong because this is Cowboy Bebop and I love Cowboy Bebop and I hope I'm wrong. So only time will tell. I didn't see anything about a release date on that, but once it arrives, I'll give it a fair shot. I'll give it a fair shot. Um, Let me see. Do you have any specific questions or anything that strike your attention? We still have a little bit of
Uh,
time left.
Nothing I can think of. I'm actually just going through Crunchyroll now, just looking at stuff like, oh, what should I add to a queue that I'm gonna have to force myself to go through.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
question. What services are you using to watch anime?
Currently just Crunchyroll and Hulu. It used to be Funimation, but I decided to stop doing that because Hulu was getting all the Funimation anime anyway. That they're okay, but well, that's not 100% true. There are still like original case closed episodes and old stuff like that. And they have a really good dub and sub situation, but I don't see the point of another $10 subscription just for old case closed episodes. So right now it's just the two VRV, technically Crunchyroll, but I use it through VRV, and Hulu.
Okay, Crunchyroll and Hulu.
Oh, and Prime Video, but it's pretty rare.
Okay, so those are your main three.
Hmm.
So for me, I actually got a handful. um, VRV used to be Crunchyroll, but now VRV. Um, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, but I rarely use it, but I have it because I have Prime. Um, Funimation, and that's pretty much it. Um, the most recent one that I got was Funimation, because I like whenever there's a service that I can do a yearly subscription. I usually I like that, and there was a time where I used to have a lot of stuff on Hulu, but because there was occasionally some of those shows that didn't have the full series, they, maybe like missing some episodes, but like on say Funimation or VRV, they had the whole library. I would like migrate everything to those queues, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, currently the biggest amount of my queue is mainly Netflix, VRV, and Funimation. So I'd probably say that those right now are my big three. Hulu is probably the smallest. There's only like a few shows that I have on there, but like,
They have so much anime.
oh yeah, they definitely do, indeed. And I know that Funimation does a good job with dubs. They have like more of a library of
They do.
dubs compared to VRV and even Hulu.
That's
But
why I had them. That's why I had them for the longest time because their dub selection was so much better than everybody's.
right, so yeah, those have been really good platforms. And I have to be honest, with Netflix, there was really a time where they didn't really have much anime
Oh
on
no,
there.
they had jack shit.
But now, like, it has really blown up with anime series. Especially a lot of anime series that are Netflix exclusive as well. Like, they've really like upped their game.
Hmm.
So I thought that was a big surprise. But currently, I have been watching Assassination Classroom on Funimation. But what are you currently watching?
I'm trying to just get back in the swing of things. Trying to think, what did I watch recently? Oh, I tried to get back in the World Trigger because I've started and stopped that like a bunch of times because I know there's a million episodes. Trying to think. Let me go to my queue real quick. You just keep talking. I'm go to my queue. I have a hard time remembering off the top of my head. Oh, I know. Um, and these are ones I've started and just went back to recently. I friggin' love. Where is it? Mother F and F. Oh yeah. Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer.
Okay.
Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Oh,
Fucking
okay.
love it. It's so dark and so. Oh, also I watch Why the Hell Are You Here, Teacher, from High Dive. It's one of those situational anime that's a little adult, actually a lot. It's got a harem kind of situation, but it's multiple like older ladies, and yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. uh, Mayo Chica, that's another one of those slice of life ones that has like a this main character's has a well, I'm gonna read the synopsis. He suffers from gynophobia. He's basically women freak him out. So it involves like a girl who is a butler to this rich girl, but she pretends to be a boy butler for some reason.
Hmm.
And for some reason I watch it. I don't know. Sometimes I watch like weird ass anime that makes no sense. That it's just some reason it catches my attention. Um, yeah, those are the ones I'm watching currently because I get so like I do a lot of starting and stopping. Doctor Stone, I started and stopped when it first started doing the anime because I read the manga for a while, and then
Oh,
for some reason
okay.
I can't make myself watch them. For some reason, I don't really get it. I have a hard time, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. I used to carve out more time to watch it, and now that I'm on the phone a lot more, it actually makes more sense for me to watch anime because I can read it. I don't have to pay as much attention. I can just look. I can look at the screen and not miss anything.
Yeah. Very good point. Very good point. Um. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be getting started on the second season of Assassination Classroom, and then afterwards, I have no idea what I'm gonna start on. I'm gonna have to go through my queue as well and come up with another anime to start on. But it sounds like both have a lot to get to. But
Oh yeah.
so we're getting ready to run out of time, but just wanted to take time to say thank y'all for watching. And as we continue this series, if y'all have any discussion topics, do leave a comment on our YouTube channel or on this video. Let us know what your interests are. What do you want us to share about anime related? We keep this wide open, and we love new topics. We love to get deep into this. That's the goal. So definitely let us know. Drop a comment and we'd be glad to partake. Sound good?
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely look forward to more episodes as we finally kicked off the Team GOWGO anime podcast. And yep, we're actually out of time. So we will end on this note. uh, as we continue to absorb ourselves into the anime world, we hope to be able to share much more with you going forward. But for now, I'm Blitzball Champ,
I'm Hollywood Cinema, yo.
and this has been the Team GOWGO Anime Podcast. We will see y'all next time.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.